Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare.
Rama
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Govardhan, Jaya Giri 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 Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Krishna जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भगवान ग्रेस श्री भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय। नहीं तुम आप करो ना। हरे कृष्ण लोकन लोकन जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय श्रीरामादि जय जय धेनुवत्सगान् ఒక్కసారి
జయ జయ రాస లీలా సర్వమనోహర
జయ జయ రాస లీలా जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस ऐसी भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शत श्री श्रीमद् डिवाइन ग्रेस श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी ठाकुर महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन बीबीडी फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की श्री मायापुर नवद्वीप धाम की पुरुषोत्तम क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की भक्ति देवी की श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की श्री श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की श्री श्री गौरनिताय की श्री श्री राधा दामोदर भगवान की श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की श्री श्री गिरि गोवर्धन की गोवर्धन पूजा महोत्सव की समवेत भक्त वृंद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Shri Guru and Sri Gauranga Jayate. Namaste Narasimhaya, Namaste Narasimhaya, Praladadadayine, Praladadadayine. हिरण्यकशिपूर्वक्षा कन्यकशिपूर्वक्षा नीलकङ्कानकालये Hare Krishna. We would like to thank all the devotees for joining us today on this auspicious occasion of the Giri Govardhan's Puja, the Govardhan Puja. We also would like to thank all the devotees who have extended their help, their services for making of the Govardhan, the sweet, with by making the sweets. Of course, we also would like to express our deepest gratitude to all the devotees in the temple who have worked very, very hard for decorating the altar, for making all the preparations for the Giri Govardhan and for making all the offerings all throughout the day. We cannot thank them enough. Thank you. We are very, very grateful to all these devotees and also to all the devotees who have joined us online to give us your association on this festive occasion of Govardhan Puja. So I would like to pass it on to Cyclone Prabhu. Prabhu, whatever is the next program, so should we begin that? And then again, I believe we have some book reading or maybe the Kirtan, and then after that we'll be having the 8:30 Aarti, that's the last Shayan Aarti, and followed by that we'll have a special prayers today. We have been singing very all these prayers from Srimad Bhagavatam, like Narayan Kavacham, Gopi Geet, and we have the we will sing of the Gajendra Moksha prayers and a couple of other prayers like Ram Raksha, and also we will sing the Narsinga Kavach. So all these prayers we will singing, we will chanting every day. So today is being Govardhan Puja. So please join us if you have time. We will be very happy to have you. Cyclone Prabhu, let's begin the next program. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Cyclone Prabhu. Devotees, am I audible? Can? Hare Bol. Hare Krishna. Chaturmai Mataji, can you hear me? Hare Bol. Anybody from the audience? Anybody who's online, can you please respond to me whether I am audible? Cyclone Prabhu. I don't know.
Prabhu, don't you do that at 8:30? You do all the prayers at 8:30.
No, we do.
But today is
But
different.
nobody is responding.
Because there was you're not internet audio.
Okay, now he's
Unmute.
ask you. Now,
Yeah.
Unmute.
It's a time lapse. Time limit. She said that like 1 minute ago. No. They went on. Time for the dinner for some school to one. She said, let's hear that. That's why I take that
Cyclone Prabhu. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. So Prabhu, what is the next program?
What I'm saying is, I'm trying to tell him.
Okay.
I don't know. I've never seen it.
He is not there. Okay. And do you know what is starting with together?
For reading, where is the book? It should be tabbed in the book wherever he left off.
Okay.
I think we just finished Kali Aarti. It will be tabbed. And it's this is the diversity.
right now dinner.
Okay.
So, Prabhu, what I'm beginning to read this. So I think we have the section on reading of the Prabhupastra. So she's going to read that. Okay. She's here. I'm going to just.
We only read half hour.
And after that we'll be having.
Do you need me to the light on?
killing the demon Balaam Bashura.
I get to stand there all the
Yeah, I'm going to need the light.
I can do that.
Yeah. After extinguishing the devastating fire, Krishna, surrounded by his relatives, friends, cows, calves, and bulls, and glorified by his friends, singing again, entered Vrindavan, which is always full of cows. While Krishna and Balaram went enjoying life in Vrindavan in the midst of the cowherd boys and girls, the season gradually changed to summer. The summer season in India is not very much welcomed because of the excessive heat, but in Vrindavan everyone was pleased because summer there appeared just like spring. This was possible only because Lord Krishna and Balaram, who are the controllers even of Lord Brahman and Lord Shiva, were residing there. In Vrindavan there were many falls which are always pouring water, and the sound is so sweet that it covers the sound of the crickets. And because water flows all over, the forest always looks very green and beautiful. The inhabitants of Vrindavan were never disturbed by the scorching heat of the sun or the high summer temperatures. The lakes of Vrindavan are surrounded by green grasses, and various kinds of lotus flowers bloom there, such as the Talara, Kanja, and Utpala. And the air blowing in Vrindavan carries the aromatic pollen of those lotus flowers. When the particles of water from the waves of the Yamuna, the lakes and the waterfalls touch the bodies of the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they automatically felt a cooling effect. Therefore, they were practically undisturbed by the summer season. Vrindavan is such a nice place. Flowers are always blooming, and there are even various kinds of decorated deer. Birds are chirping, peacocks are crowing and dancing, and bees are humming. The cuckoos there sing nicely in 5 kinds of tunes. Krishna, the reservoir of pleasure, blowing his flute, accompanied by his elder brother Balaram, and the other cowherd boys and the cows, entered the beautiful forest of Vrindavan to enjoy the atmosphere. They walked into the midst of newly grown leaves of trees, whose flowers resembled peacock feathers. They were garlanded by those flowers and decorated with saffron chalk. Sometimes they were dancing and singing, and sometimes wrestling with one another. While Krishna danced, some of the cowherd boys sang, and others played on flutes. Some bugled on buffalo horns, or clapped their hands praising Krishna. Dear brother, you were dancing very nicely. Actually, all these boys were demigods, descended from higher planets, to assist Krishna in his pastimes. The demigods, garbed in the dress of the cowherd boys, were encouraging Krishna in his dancing, just as one artist encourages another with praise. Up to that time, neither Balaram nor Krishna had undergone the hair-cutting ceremony. Therefore, their hair was clustered like crow's feathers. They were always playing hide-and-seek with their boyfriends, or jumping or fighting with them. Sometimes, while his friends were chanting and dancing, Krishna would praise them. My dear friends, you were dancing and singing very nicely. The boys played at catching ball with fruits such as bale and amalaka. They played blind man's bluff, challenging and touching one another. Sometimes they imitated the forest deer and various kinds of birds. They joked with one another by imitating croaking frogs, and they enjoyed swinging underneath the trees. Sometimes they would play amongst themselves like a king and his subjects. In this way, Balaram and Krishna, along with their friends, played all kinds of sports and enjoyed the soothing atmosphere of Vrindavan, full of rivers, lakes, rivulets, fine trees, and excellent gardens filled with fruits and flowers. Once while the boys were engaged in their transcendental pastimes, a great demon of the name Kalamashura entered their company, desiring to kidnap both Balaram and Krishna. Although Krishna was playing the part of a cowherd boy, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he could understand everything, past, present, and future. So when Kalamashura entered their company, Krishna began to think how to kill the demon. But externally, he received him as a friend. "Oh, my dear friend," he said, "it is very good that you have come to take part in our pastimes." Krishna then called all his friends and ordered them, "Now we shall play in pairs. We shall challenge one another in pairs." With this proposal, all the boys assembled together. Some of them took the side of Krishna, and some of them took the side of Balaram, and they arranged to play in duel. The defeated members in duel fighting had to carry the victorious members on their backs, as a horse carries its master. They began playing, and at the same time tended the cows as they proceeded through the Govardhana forest. The party of Balaram, accompanied by Sudama and Krishna, came out victorious, and Krishna's party had to carry them on their backs through the Govardhana forest. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, being defeated, had to carry Sundama on his back, and Bahasina carried the sabra. Imitating their play, Kalabashura, who appeared there as a cowherd boy, carried Balaram on his back. Kalabashura was the greatest of the demons, and he had calculated that Krishna was the most powerful of the cowherd boys. In order to avoid the company of Krishna, Kalabashura carried Balaram far away. The demon was undoubtedly very strong and powerful, but he was carrying Balaram, who was compared to a mountain. Therefore he began to feel the burden, and thus he assumed his real form. When he appeared in his real feature, he was decorated with a golden helmet and earrings, and looked just like a cloud, with lightning carrying the moon. Balaram observed the demon's body, expanding up to the limits of the clouds, his eyes dazzling like blazing fire, and his mouth flashing with sharpened teeth. At first Balaram was surprised by the demon's appearance, and he began to wonder, how is it that all of a sudden this carrier has changed in every way? But with a clear mind he could quickly understand that he was being carried away from his friends by a demon who intended to kill him. Immediately he struck the head of the demon with a strong fist, just as the king of heavenly planet strikes a mountain with his thunderbolt. Stricken by the fist of Balaram, the demon fell down dead, just like a snake with a smashed head, and blood poured from his mouth. When the demon fell, he made a tremendous sound, and it sounded as if a great hill were falling upon being struck by the thunderbolt of King Indra. All the boys then rushed to the spot. Astonished by the ghastly scene, they began to praise Balaram with the words, "Well done, well done." All of them had embraced Balaram with great affection, thinking that he had returned from death, and they offered their blessings and congratulations. All the demigods in the heavenly planets became very satisfied and showered flowers on the transcendental body of Balaram, and they also offered their blessings and congratulations by him having killed the great demon, Kalambashura. Thus ends the Bhakti-Vedanta purport of the 18th chapter of Krishna, killing the demon Kalambashura. Chapter 19, devouring the forest fire. While Krishna and Balaram and their friends were engaged in the pastimes described above, the cows, being unobserved, began to wander off on their own, entering farther and farther into the deepest part of the forest, allured by fresh grasses. The goats, cows, and buffalo traveled from one forest to another and entered the forest known as Ishikadavi. This forest was full of green grass, and therefore they were allured. But when they entered, they saw that there was a forest fire, and they began to cry. On the other side of Balaram and Krishna, along with their friends, could not find their animals, and they became very much aggrieved. They began to trace the cows by following their footprints, as well as the path of eaten grass. All of the boys were fearing that their very means of livelihood, the cows, were now lost. When searching out the cows in the forest, they themselves became very tired and thirsty. Soon, however, they heard the crying of their cows. Krishna began to call the cows by their respective names with great noise. Upon hearing Krishna calling, the cows immediately replied with joy. But by this time the forest fire had surrounded all of them, and the situation appeared to be very fearful. The flames increased as the wind blew very quickly, and it appeared that everything movable and immovable would be devoured. All the cows and the boys became very frightened, and they looked towards Balaram and Krishna the way of a dying man looks at the picture of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They said, dear Krishna, you and Balaram are very powerful. We are now burning from the heat of this blazing fire. Let us take shelter of your lotus feet. We know you can protect us from this great danger. Our dear friend Krishna, we are your intimate friends. It is not right that we should suffer in this way. We are not completely dependent on you, and you are the knower of all religious life. We do not know anyone except you. The personality of Godhead heard the appealing voices of his friends, and casting a pleasant glance over them, he began to answer. By speaking through his eyes, he impressed upon his friends that there was no cause for fear, and he assured them, don't worry. Then Krishna, the supreme mystic, the powerful personality of Godhead, immediately swallowed up all the flames of the fire. The cows and boys were thus saved from imminent danger. Out of fear, the boys were almost unconscious, but when they regained their consciousness and opened their eyes, they saw that they were again in the Vajrija forest with Krishna. Balaram and the cows, they were astonished to see that they were completely free from the attack of the blazing fire and that the cows were saved. They secretly thought that Krishna must not be an ordinary boy, but some demigod. In the evening, Krishna and Balaram, along with the boys and cows, returned to Vrindavan playing their flutes. As they approached the village, all the gopis became joyous. Throughout the day, the gopis used to think of Krishna while he was in the forest, and in his absence they were considering one moment to be like 12 years. Thus ends the Bhakti-Vedanta first book of the 19th chapter of Krishna, devouring the forest fire. Chapter 20, description of autumn. The killing of Alambasura and the devouring of the devastating forest fire by Krishna and Balaram became household topics in Vrindavan. The cowherd men described these wonderful activities to their wives and to everyone else, and all were struck with wonder. They concluded that Krishna and Balaram were demigods who had kindly come to Vrindavan to become their children. In this way, the rainy season ensued. In India, after the scorching heat of the summer, the rainy season is very welcome. The clouds accumulating in the sky, covering the sun and the moon, became very pleasing to the people, and they expect rainfall at every moment. After summer, the advent of the rainy season is considered to be a life-giving source for everyone. The thunder and occasional lightning are also pleasurable to the people. The symptoms of the rainy season may be compared to the symptoms of the living entities who are covered by the three modes of material nature. The unlimited sky is like the supreme Brahman, and the tiny living entities are like the covered sky of Brahman, covered by the three modes of material nature. Originally, everyone is part and parcel of Brahman. The supreme Brahman, or the unlimited sky, can never be covered by a cloud, but a portion of it can be covered. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the living entities are part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they are only an insignificant portion of the Supreme Lord. This portion is covered by the modes of material nature, and therefore the living entities are residing within this material world, the Brahma-Jyoti. Spiritual emulsions. It's just like the sunshine. As the sunshine is full of molecular shining particles, so the Brahma-Jyoti is full of minute portions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Out of that unlimited expansion of minute portions of the Supreme Lord, some are covered by the influence of material nature, but others are free. Clouds are accumulated water drawn from the land by the sunshine. Continually for 8 months, the sun evaporates all kinds of water from the surface of the globe, and this water is accumulated in the shape of clouds, which are distributed as water when there is a need. Similarly, a government extracts various taxes from the citizens, such as income tax and sales tax, which the citizens are able to pay by their different material activities, agriculture, trade, industry, and so on. This taxation is compared to the sun's drawing water from the earth. When there is again need of water on the surface of the globe, the same sunshine converts the water into clouds and distributes it all over the globe. Similarly, the taxes collected by the government must be distributed to the people again as educational work, public work, sanitation work, etc. This is very essential for a good government. The government should not simply extract taxes for useless squandering. The tax collection should be utilized for the public welfare of the state. During the rainy season, there are strong winds blustering all over the country and carrying clouds from one place to another to distribute life-giving water to the needy living entities. Water is urgently needed after the summer season, and thus the clouds are just like a rich man who, in time of need, distributes his money even to the point of exhausting his whole treasury. So the clouds exhaust themselves by distributing water all over the surface of the globe. When Maharaj Dasaratha, the father of Lord Ramachandra, used to fight with his enemies, it was said that he approached them just like a farmer uprooting unnecessary plants and trees. And when there was a need of giving charity, he used to distribute money exactly as the clouds distribute rain. The distribution of rain by clouds is so sumptuous that it is compared to the distribution of wealth by a great, magnificent person. The clouds' downpour is so profuse that the rains even fall on rocks and hills and on the oceans and seas, where there is no need for water. The clouds resemble a charitable person who opens his treasury for distribution and who does not discriminate whether the charity is needed or not. He gives in charity open-handedly. Before the rainfall, the whole surface of the globe becomes almost depleted of all kinds of energies and appears very lean. After the rainfall, the whole surface of the earth becomes green with vegetation and appears to be very healthy and strong. Here, a comparison is made to the person undergoing austerities for fulfillment of a material desire. The flourishing condition of the earth after the rainy season is compared to the fulfillment of material desires. Sometimes when a country is subjugated by an undesirable government, persons and parties undergo severe penances and austerities to get control of the government. And when they attain control, they flourish by giving themselves generous salaries. This temporary profit is like the flourishing of the earth in the rainy season. Actually, one should undergo severe austerities and penances only to achieve spiritual happiness. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is recommended that tapasya, or austerity, should be accepted for realizing the Supreme Lord. By accepting austerity and devotional service, one regains the spiritual life, and as soon as one regains the spiritual life, he enjoys unlimited spiritual bliss. But if someone undertakes austerities and penances for some material gain, it is stated in the Bhagavad Gita that the results are temporary, and that they are desired by persons of less intelligence. During the rainy season in the evening, there are many glowworms visible above the top of the trees, thither and thither. Hare Krishna. Okay, I'll finish up. The temporary prophet is like the flourishing of the earth in the rainy season. Actually, one should undergo severe austerities and penances only to achieve spiritual happiness. And that was the description of our existence.
Could you like add that another day for tomorrow? Is it a cardboard thing? Okay, that's fine.
So, thank you, notice. We would like to welcome Akshay Avada. Greetings. Yes, no, absolutely, no, you mentioned.
Krishna rain a little bit.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Everybody just came to drop off and that was the darshan.
How many people have been drop us?
I know Rangadevi Mataji came, Devanandani Mataji came, Darshina Mataji came. Yes, she was also, nobody knew about it. Nobody was, I don't know about Devanandani Mataji, but it seems to me Soumya Mataji didn't know. Huh? Well, that they were invited to bring this.
No, she's been on the group. And
So,
what's
her name? Shaka Priya didn't know. Shaka Priya wasn't there. She said, I didn't know that you were. So she came to drop off Prabhupada's clothes. Kaushik Prabhu and Saikil Prabhu, nobody came. They must be knowing, I don't know. But I'm not on that group. I don't know why you said I was
that
on
must be only added few people who generally bring. Maybe I should tell her that I have more.
Yeah.
There's about 4 people here. Can I give them?
Yes, please.
The trouble about the person they open it up.
Give them more also. They have a lot of halwa. We have to give them halwa and give back. Now I want to take care of the halwa. So give open the door, please. I don't want to get my hands on there. Give them like lots of halwa. Yeah, just get it. I can just do it.
열심히 남자라 생각해. 열심히 남자라. 아침은 다 쓰게 돼. 그래서 집에 가서 바로 맞는 것도 이거 아침은 또 필요해.
The building speak what?
Who's that?
I want to put in the correction box here, okay?
What is it?
Can I bring the correction box? Don't leave the box.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Don't leave somebody talking by me like have a good idea.
I bet there's nothing in it too. Oh, the squirrels were stealing prasad today. Literally, squirrels were stealing prasad and came in under the Mataji took a picture. She said she'll send it. Yeah, because they put the nuts out and they came and they were just carrying away nuts and she saw them and she said she took a picture.
And you tell that place, you tell who is that this was being coordinated by that
I told,
person authority.
what's her name? Why was it you? Did you tell her not to send the message to
No, I told
inspiration
her.
or news or something?
No, I think
That is the group which was formed.
she's doing that. I mean, we have to tell her to do it.
Because a lot of devotees would have brought also, like other devotees would have brought. I mean, I was surprised nobody from Cycling Prabhu was gang.
No, they-
Kaushik Prabhu was here,
Yeah.
but he didn't bring anything. Then Soumya Mata became she didn't bring anything.
So she knew that. That's why she brought. She was already there.
She didn't bring, no, she didn't bring like that. And then when I asked her, I said, Mata she you didn't bring anything? I mean, I was shocked. And then she said she would do it.
You guys can open on time. We have about 6 people out there. Son, you know over there, it's ready? Yeah. Okay. You got a spot. Yeah, look to the window.
And you too.
It's like saved my life, you guys. My hair gets really oily and there's a lot of buildup. This is the way it detox.